But there's something else too that Charlie did, which was a little different, is that he was also reaching young women. And some of it was via his faith work and his wife, but he had this young women's forum where he would try to recruit powerful young female voices as well to work for Turning Point. So he was really a full spectrum guy. And that is one thing, just to speak personally for a second, that I loved about Charlie. That Charlie got his start in public life writing for me at Breitbart News, the website that I run, which is incredibly popular. You've probably seen our stuff online if you haven't, but I highly recommend everyone check it out. And we were a pioneering force in online alternative news. And Charlie came to us with the story idea. And in the spirit of our founder, Andrew Breitbart, we suggested he actually do the writing and the reporting on it because he could maybe do a better job than we could. And the story went viral. It was everywhere. He was on Fox News. He was everywhere. And it gave him the bug to take Turning Point, which was just a kernel at the time, and turn it into something really big. He takes over talk radio. He takes over activism. But Link, you know this as well as anyone. He doesn't stop. He's going, I'm going for TikTok now. I'm going for Instagram now. Like, he does not see a venue that wasn't worthy of his attention. And that sort of ambition is why he's so irreplaceable. But it's also why he's reaching so many people. It's like, I'm not big on TikTok. I've never tried. And it's one of those things where Charlie said, I'm going to try. And then he'd get big at it. And that was so special about him.
No, absolutely. I feel like he knew you have to meet voters where they are. And it's why he was so consequential and crucial to this last election of bringing young people over. And I feel I've been saying the last few days, on the other side of a breakdown is a breakthrough. And I feel like out of this horrific, disgusting tragedy, millions of people are now discovering Charlie Kirk. They're discovering he wasn't this far-right figure he's been made out to be by the mainstream media. Very common sense guy. They're discovering his videos and they're saying, you know what? We want to come together and learn more about conservative values, faith, family, and everything in between. I mean, what has it been like for you as someone who knew Charlie personally, seeing these vigils pop up across the country and how much he meant to all of these people? And I know he meant so much to you as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting and beautifully put about the breakthrough following the breakdown. That's a really nice quote and very comforting in times like this. You know, for me, when I'm podcasting, I tell my audience before the show which Kubler-Ross stage of grief I'm in before I get going, so they know what to expect. I think that the first day was mostly a sadness day, a depression day, and then I think the second day was a little bit of denial with a mix of anger, and there's a lot of anger to go around. I do think federal law enforcement has to do a much better job keeping an eye on some of these forums, at a minimum, to understand what's going on them. I think that our universities have been playing games with security for conservatives for 20 years. Back when I was on campus doing events, they were violent. And I was on an event with Charlie just over a year ago, the UC Davis campus. It was a smaller event. And Antifa was out there. They smashed into the basketball arena. I mean, you could picture the panes of glass that they might have at a college basketball arena. They smashed through it and they smashed inside. It was ultimately, he wasn't threatened imminently, but he had to walk around with security. That shouldn't be the case. And I do feel like that we need to do a better job, be it drone surveillance, bulletproof glass, whatever it is. It's to keep our people safe, because there is no First Amendment if there's a very high risk you're going to get shot in the neck when you start speaking. And so that is just, enraging to me. Plus, all the online hatred it's not surprising, but it's still disappointing as a country because it does make you fearful. But overall, you hit the biggest thing, which is the outpouring of support, the moments of silence at the NFL and the tributes from Major League Baseball and Formula One and on country concerts and people in Canada at country concerts, chanting Charlie's name, people in the streets of London chanting Charlie's name. I mean, I knew Charlie was huge, but I don't know if I would have anticipated that. And that is a great thing and very, very positive for the future.
Absolutely. The last point I want to make, and I'd love for you to chime in on this. I've seen so many people talk the last few days. If this had been the left, they would be rioting, looting, burning down buildings like we saw in the wake of George Floyd. I mean, that entire summer, everything was just being destroyed in some of these cities in Tim Walz's state. And the past few days, what we've seen is actually people coming together and comforting each other and going to vigils and going to church. It's the complete opposite of what you would see from the left, except they want to call us radicals and extremists. I'm sure you've sort of felt that too in that sentiment.
Yeah, it's a terrific point. And let's take it a step further, because if you think about what's going on online with this amazing grassroots effort to try to vocalize to people that if you're celebrating the public execution of a free speech activist in front of his family, where his guts were blown out on camera for the whole world to see, and you're celebrating that, and people are politely suggesting to your employer that maybe you shouldn't have a job at that company, to act as though that's some sort of massive cancel culture moment after all we've witnessed, where conservatives getting their apps thrown off of the Apple App Store, or them losing all their advertisers, or Breitbart News, our stories don't show up in Google because they don't like some stuff that we wrote 10 years ago. After all of that endurance that we've had to deal with, plus all the rioting you mentioned, all the actual violence you mentioned, and for the media to write one column inch about how we don't have a right to vocalize that you shouldn't celebrate the murder of our friend and our leader, then it boggles the mind. And I just want to remind people, whatever nonviolent action you're compelled to take in your life, if it's signing up for something, if it's donating, if it's just talking to a friend or family member who you think might be on the verge of conversion to something more godly, more conservative in their life, or if it's taking up your keyboard and trying to vocalize some of these values to people, whatever way you want to get involved, start now and continue it. I got to tell you, I'm close with the folks at Turning Point. They had 4,000 chapters before Charlie was assassinated. 4,000. Your audience has probably heard at this point, they've got 32,000 chapter requests. People get it. And so be a part of that. Be a part of that solution. And Charlie not only won't have died in vain, he'll become a legend on the level of Martin Luther King Jr., and that's what we want.
No, he is going to be a legend. I think this week in general is going to be a turning point, and I say that pun intended intentionally. It's going to be a turning point, an inflection point for this country. And the last thing I'll say, and I know you agree, I tell young people all the time, if you have a cell phone and a Wi-Fi connection, there is no excuse. If you have something to say, something to add to the discourse, and you have a cell phone and all of you do, get out there and say something and try to find your tribe and find your community and get involved. I know there are a lot of people who live alone. There are a lot of women who write me. They say they're living alone. They're consuming all this. You are not alone. There's a huge community of people thinking about you and supporting you. And somehow we're going to get through this and get through the grief of it. And something amazing. I just think something amazing is going to happen. And something so positive. And I think Erica Kirk as well is just going to become such an even bigger leader. People keep saying, I know I said I was letting you go, but people keep saying, oh my God, Erica would have made a great first lady of the United States. Why not president someday? Maybe first female president. I think the sky is the limit for Erica as well, and she's going to step into her power too. But
yeah, that was the first thing I said. I was fortunate enough to get asked to opine almost immediately after her speech, and I said that this is a major new American voice announcing herself right now, and it was one of the speeches of the century. I thought she had all the right tones, but the one thing that she got that brings us back to one of the first points we talked about, Link, is that she saw that as evildoers who killed her husband. It's not just one guy. It's not just one lunatic. There is a satanic force in this country right now, and we need to quash it, and then we need to fill the void with God. And we can do this in a peaceful way. We could do this in a kind way to people, but we have to be fearless, and we have to be prepared for a spiritual battle that's taking place right now.
Absolutely. I've been saying in all of my videos recently, and from working on an independent campaign as well, this country is not so much divided by Republicans and Democrats. It's divided by people who love the United States of America and those who want to destroy it. So it really is good versus evil in this country right now, and it is something people are going to have to get off the sideline. Recently, I learned about colostrum, the very first milk known as liquid gold that babies receive from their mothers after birth, packed with proteins, natural growth factors, antimicrobial peptides that work to enhance your immune response, reduce inflammation, repair and balance gut lining, reduce bloating, and make your hair and skin look amazing. Today's sponsor, Cowboy Colostrum, offers the highest quality cow colostrum available in the US, 100% made in America from 100% American grass-fed cows. They don't overprocess or strip their colostrum, leaving it whole, full fat, and high protein for ultimate nutrient density. It's the highest quality bovine colostrum you can buy. Cowboy is easy to drink, made with delicious natural ingredients and no artificial flavors. Simply add a 3-gram scoop of either our chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, or strawberry into your coffee or smoothie. For a limited time, our listeners get up to 25% off their entire order. Just head to cowboycolostrum.com/link and use code LINK at checkout. That's 25% off when you use code LINK at cowboycolostrum.com/link. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.